When my wife and I were first looking seriously into moving to Thailand, the first thing we did was look at the different visas that we could possibly get. And we found out real quick via the websites like the Embassy one. I think we looked at the Washington Embassy website because we're from the US. And I think we went on other various websites about Thailand visas. It was confusing as to what we needed to do. We were totally lost, or how the process worked. You know, what was the correct visa? How do we go about getting it? You know, we really needed some advice. And one thing we did is we did a Google search in Thailand for visa assistance, and won't mention names, but we came up with a easy to find company that's out there. It's a law firm, and talked to them briefly, and they didn't really have our best interest in mind. It seemed to be more about paying money for a consultation, and then they would talk to you about the visa that they wanted you to have, maybe not the one that was best for you. So we went on some forums for moving to Thailand, and we found some expats that referred a place called Assist Thai Visa, which is where we're headed now. Now this is in Chiang Mai. I've seen other videos of other visa services in different parts of Thailand. But anyway, we contacted Assist Thai Visa on Facebook, and we just did a chat with them about you know, what our plans were, how long we planned on staying, how old we were, and all this good stuff, money situation. And they were able to guide us as to the easiest process to get in the country and then change the visa to something more long-term. And we were also working with a wonderful insurance person, and I'll make sure I put links to the insurance and Thai Assist Visa in the description. But we worked with a great insurance guy. He's originally from Canada, lives in Bangkok, and he explained to us the different visas and how insurance prices, which, by the way, insurance, like medical insurance, is required for some visas, if not all. But anyway, that some visas that you get, that the insurance cost can be higher. So you got to be careful about what visa you get before you get into the country. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend a few minutes talking with, I believe, his name's Reese. I believe he's the owner of Assist Thai Visa. We're going to ask him a few questions and see if we can make the process for some of you wanting to come to Thailand a little easier. So next time I see you, we'll be heading into Assist Thai Visa. And here we have Reese Bonnie, who is the owner of Assist Thai Visa. And I just want to take a few minutes to ask you a few questions. When my wife and I had decided to come to Thailand, one of the things that we could not figure out for the life of us, it was just hard to get an answer, is what kind of visa we should get, or how do we go about getting it, how much money's involved, you know, what's the best one for our situation. And I remember that, you know, I found a couple of major players out there that were on the internet, and I contacted them, and it just seemed like they didn't have my best interest in mind. It just seemed like they wanted, you know, a retainer, and then the information we did get from them, it just didn't seem right. So I want to ask you a few questions. The first one is, what are some factors that need to be considered when someone is choosing a visa for their particular circumstance?
Yeah, so I mean, you know, their particular circumstance is the most important part of that question. So for every different person that we deal with, they're going to have different needs, and it's going to be more beneficial for them to do a particular type of visa. So what we try and do is, the earlier that we can be in contact with somebody, whether they're in the States or in Europe, before they come to Thailand, before they travel, that's the best time that we can get them, because we can communicate to them, we can understand what they're looking for and what they want, and based on that, then we can give them advice. So there is, like you said, there's so much information out there that when people tend to look at it by themselves, they qualify for so many different visas, they're not sure which one is going to be the best for them. What we try and do as a company is look at their individual circumstances and understand, okay, so, for example, this particular couple has kids going to international school, so they may be better off on like a guardian visa. This couple don't have any children and they want to study, so maybe they're going to be better on an education visa. This couple they're both over 50, so they'll be better off on retirement. And then, you can have single people who come over here, they can look at volunteers, visas, and, the sky's the limit really where you want to go. High net worth, a lot of our high net worth clients like to take elite, which is just basically where you pay for a visa for 20 years or 5 years or 10 years, depending on which one you want to qualify for. And then you have obviously spouse, if you marry or tie family, visas, looking after a child, caregiver. So there's a lot of different visas that people can go on, and some people contact us wanting a visa and they're only going to be here for 30 days. So in that case, if they're from particular countries, they get a visa exempt, so they can just come in on that. But going back to the first point, the reason we like to contact people before they arrive is, if they are going to go back, let's say, to the guardian visa where they have children attending school, then one of the requirements is to have the birth certificates stamped or notarized by the Thai embassy. So that's sometimes a lot easier to do in your home country rather than doing it here, because there are some embassies that aren't in Bangkok, some that are much more difficult to deal with, and it's much more expensive. So it's things like that where we try, from the start to save people money and make the process a lot easier when they come in.
The next question I have for you, and this may be in my mind, I don't know, I'm dying to ask you this one. Are there more visas available that aren't posted on websites, like once you get in the country?
Yeah, so I mean, this is a strange scenario, because for years I've been asked about a particular type of visa which is advertised on a lot of the embassies, and that visa is a 3-year multiple entry non-B. And everybody always emails me, hey, I've seen this visa, it's on the London website, it's on the LA website, the Thai embassy website, I want to get this 3-year multiple entry non-B. Now, we've been doing this for the last 11 years. I have never seen one of those visas issued or granted, but yet it's on the website. So in terms of what visas you can apply for at the embassy, you can certainly have much more options when you come to Thailand. But in certain situations, it's going to be much better to get a visa maybe at the embassy. So, for example, if you're a married couple, it's much easier for both of you to come in on a visa, and then one of you get an extension based on, maybe it's going to be based on retirement or education or whatever it may be, and then the other spouse can follow. So you can have a lead spouse and a follow, and that can be, the wife can lead, the husband can lead, it doesn't matter. But in order to do that, you need non-immigrant O visa. So in that case, it's much easier to get it from outside the country. Now, we've had it before where people they didn't want to deal with the embassy, so they just fly into Thailand. And what we would then do is basically prepare the documents, and they would visit a local embassy. They would go to Malaysia or Vietnam or Laos, and they wanted to do that. Oh, we want to travel anyway, so we can make a trip of it, and that works out very well. Obviously now things have changed because we're in COVID, so the borders have all been locked down. So that option at present isn't really open to leave and go and apply outside. So for the time being, it's probably, like I said, it's always best to contact us first, because there may be situations where you're better off applying at the embassy first. However, if you do come and you don't have any visa and you haven't applied at the embassy, we're pretty confident that we can, get you on the correct visa. But it all depends on cost and time. Like, if we believe it's more cost effective, faster and cheaper for you to get the visa at the embassy, we would advise you to do that. If we believe it's cheaper and more cost effective to do it in country, then that's what our advice will be. So we just try and give the client the path of least resistance, the easiest way for them.
So Reese, what are the advantages of using a service like yours?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, our main advantage is that in what we try to do is we try and save the client time and money. That is, our MO. What we want to do is we want to make things a lot easier for the client, save them time, and give them advice which will, save them money. The advantages of using a visa service like ours is we will basically plan and schedule every part of your visa. So, we will tell you what documents you need, we'll help you open the various bank accounts, we can help you with your licenses, we can help you with legal requirements here, insurances here, and we will then put you on a track to get, like I said, to get the visa with the path of least resistance and to make that the most cost-effective way. Now, people can and people do obviously do the visas by themselves, and we have clients that will come and use us for the first year and then they go and do it by themselves for the second year. The third year they normally come back to us because they say they just don't want to deal with the immigration, which is fine, but some people like to do it by themselves, and we will give advice out if we believe it's going to be a better option for the client to apply by themselves, then I will tell them that.
Well, I noticed that I was just downstairs a little while ago, and they told me that I need to check in with immigration every 90 days. But actually, I just come here, and you guys will go do the hard stuff at immigration. Is that correct?
So we do 90-day reporting. We actually have like an AI-based system. So we put your details in, and then you'll be automatically notified 15 days before your 90 days is due.
Okay.
You'll get an email. We will then call you. We will then send you an SMS. And if we still can't contact you, then sometimes the staff will even go to the client's house to try and get the passport to do the 90-day. Our clients drop in the passport, and then we call and they collect it the next day. So that's one of the services that we do, like a 90-day service. Again, it's easier for people if they know that we're taking care of it and we're going to contact them, and they don't have to think about it. So for those type of services, 90 days reporting, and the visa service, if they use us for the visa service, normally they'll be in our office once and at immigration once for the year. So people that use the service, they tend to value their time, and it's a good way of them being kept aware of what's going on at immigration without having to follow constantly the news and the updates, and any changes we email out to all of our clients, so everybody is forewarned.
Okay, Reese, I know your particular branch here. I know they handle Chiang Mai because we're in Chiang Mai.
We are in Chiang Mai, yes.
So for all the people who are viewing this that are going to different parts of Thailand, can they go through you, or do they need to go through someone in, let's say, Pattaya, or if they're going to Pattaya or Bangkok?
Yeah, so I mean, our office is based in Chiang Mai, so we deal with clients based in Chiang Mai. However, we do have clients in Bangkok, in Phuket, in Samui, and Pattaya that use us for various services. So my advice is always to new people arriving in Thailand, for sure you can contact us. We'll give you the advice. We'll have a look at what would be your best option. And then we do have offices that we recommend, that we use in Bangkok, that we use in Samui, Phuket, Hua Hin. So we can put you in touch with people, or you can get your own agent in like a local area. And what I was saying to you before off camera is then the client can just contact us and ask, hey, is this a reasonable price? After you've seen my case, does this? And we'll happily answer. Maybe in the future they'll change their mind and come up to Chiang Mai, and then we can service them for the visa. But we're always happy to help and try and make sure that the client has the right advice for their situation.
Wonderful. What advice would you give somebody who is just getting started in the process? What's the first thing that they really need? They decided, I'm going to Thailand next.
So, I think for the first thing to consider is really how long you're going to be in Thailand and what you want to achieve, what you want to accomplish while you're here. Do you want to spend a year here? Are you spending 3 months here? Is your plan to travel? Is your plan to stay in one particular area or move around? And all of that information, once it's fed into us, we can then look and see what's going to be, their best option. So at the moment, obviously, Thailand is in, a new state of lockdown. So the quarantine has moved from 7 days back up to 14. They're thinking of ending the quarantine shortly. So for this moment in time, when people are looking at coming into Thailand, I would say that would be the first thing that I would look at. How long is the quarantine at the moment? When is it going to be finished? When are they going to reduce it? What difference does it make if I'm vaccinated or unvaccinated? And use that information to plan your trip, because if they're going to cancel the mandatory quarantine in July, then there's no point coming in mid-June and spending 2 weeks in quarantine if you don't need to. So that would be what I would look at the moment. Normally, if we're in a non-COVID era, which we hope we will get back to at some point. Yeah, hopefully. If we're in a non-COVID era, then the main thing that I look at when people come in is what visa they're going to be on. Do they have adequate health cover, health insurance, or medical cover? Just look in the newspaper about how many cases there are of foreigners that end up here without any cover, and they have a bike crash or they have an illness, and you can look up the GoFundMe pages. You don't want to be in that situation, especially in Thailand. It's very, very good medical system, but the prices reflect that. And if you're in any type of a serious injury or illness, it's expensive here.
Now, do you all handle any insurance?
Yes, we have one of the staff downstairs. They deal with the insurances, mainly for the visas.
Okay.
For people to come in and enter the country, to make sure they have an adequate policy to be able to get their COE, which is the certificate of entry. So yes, we will handle that. And then, then we basically taper it down. So we have a look at, okay, are you going to drive when you're here? Have you got an international license? Do you have a valid license in your country? Do you think you're going to be driving a motorbike or a car? And then we can assist with those services. But like I said, it really depends on what the individual wants to do. If they're coming here for, a couple of months as a tourist and they want to spend time at the beach, that's very different than somebody who says, I want to come in and set up my own franchising business, for example. But yeah, we can help with both those queries. So.
Well, excellent. Last thing. So for all the people who are like, oh, that sounds great, I want to get a hold of you, what is the best way? I know I went on Facebook and just sent a regular chat.
Yes, yeah. We're on Facebook. Our website is www.assistthaiVisa.com. We have a contact form on there. You can email us directly. My email is Rhys, RHYS, @assistthaiVisa.com. And, you can also, if you're in country, you can obviously call. And like yourself, you can just walk into the office as well. We have 2 office locations in Chiang Mai. So we will look, like I said, if you're out of country, then obviously email is best. You can go from email to setting up, a Skype call or a Zoom call,
Okay.
many now. And we can give basically advice on what we believe would be the best way to move forward in individuals' circumstances. Depending, like I said, it all varies, depends where they're coming from. America, UK, Europe, Australia, they all have different requirements at present. And then obviously the individual requirements like we discussed before. Are they traveling with children? Are they traveling alone? Do they have a partner? Are they married? Like all of that information will allow us to feed that in, and then we can give them the best advice.
Well, thank you very much, Rhys. I appreciate you spending a little time and telling us all that good information. And I will put a link to your website on the description below. And I'll even put your email address on there as well, so people can contact you with any questions.
Yes.
But thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I just add that for me, I think Thailand is one of the best places that you could live in the world. I've been here for 10 years, and I wouldn't change it. So if people are thinking about it, by all means, come and give it a visit, give it a try. you know, maybe don't sell your whole life and move before you've got here. But, you know, come. We have a lot of clients at the moment from Hong Kong. They're all coming in, you know, end of July, August to do, you know, they call it recce's or trials. They're coming here to check out everything. So, you know, it's for me, you know, the more information you can read about Thailand, that's great, but you need to come here and really see if this is going to be the place for you. And, you know, if it is, then we'd be more than happy to help you stay here.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.